Hello everybody, welcome back here at the Clavichord, constantly upgrading and updating and improving the recording setting here. Last time with the Sweelinck you could see my hands, but it was very dark. Normally this webcam should do a very actually fantastic job, but you cannot believe how many things can go wrong technically. One camera, two cameras, microphone, it's captures in the computer, synchronization, all of that, lighting, it's unbelievable. But now we have this image, which is something better. I would say a lot better, and don't ask me how I did it, because at the end I just ticked some boxes in OBS Studio, that's the program I'm using, and boom, there suddenly my webcam was there. So today I'm going to practice Sweelinck again for the concert on Sunday. So there will be a practicing session, maybe not so long, but it's a huge choral. I was going through it earlier today. On the clavichord it sounds absolutely stunning, but it's really an organ piece because you have all these long notes and variations. It's a very, I wouldn't say abstract piece of music, but we kind of feel it that way. Though Sweelinck is unbelievable in how he uses harmonic structures and harmony sequences to give a foundation of, for that time, like a very emotional impact, harmonically speaking, which is on the organ absolutely fascinating. But the clavichord brings that element also to the surface, but of course he loses the long notes. So I'm going to practice that here, just play. But guys, these practicing sessions, I'm developing those. Leave me in the comment, you would really do me a favor leaving in the comment what you would like, what would be your takeaway from these, or your ideal takeaways from these practicing sessions. And in the future I will develop it in several ways, also with the focus on some really cool courses, I believe, that I have for years now here on my computer sketched out, and just have to work them out, and just in which I can present you some elements about practicing historical fingerings, which will make your life really, really, really much easier. Things like of that nature in the future, and that will be the near future if everything goes as planned, which never go. But the near future, between now and 6 months. So leave me that in the comment boxes, because we're developing this together. Okay, so pressing this key, you will notice these two books, which look a little bit awkward because they have nothing to do with music. It's Dutch literature, and I just use them to, put the stand here, the desk in this position a little bit oblique. If I put it completely flat, it would be better for you. Even now it's a little bit out of focus sometimes, but you can read the notes if you are maybe not on your phone or tablet, but if you are on a desktop, you definitely will be able to follow the score. And so whenever I'm going to practice new pieces, you will see me making fingerings, which will be, I think, a cool process, very slow process. It's like for the diehards amongst you. But I know many of you actually would love me doing that. That's an awkward sentence in English. Anyways, you get my point. And this setup, I think, allows us just doing that. Without further ado, I'm going to play, more than practice perhaps, this beautiful choral. Again, it's a massive work, 4 variations, and you have to think here about envision. If you have been in Amsterdam and surroundings, or in the Dutch big cities, it's even different than here in Belgium. But you have their churches. When you play this music there, I told it last time in the Ritsekade practicing session, it's unbelievable. This construction there, it gives so much peace of mind, and peace here also. Your heartbeat becomes even slower. You have the impression. It's all structure, and the structure becomes so overwhelmingly powerful that you are, as a listener and also as a player, absorbed in the structure, and nothing needs to happen, because it's like a feeling of eternity there. Big words actually, but it feels like that. And the clavichord, it does a great job, even though this is really an organ piece. I might have mentioned that before, but long notes, long choral notes, with sometimes 16th notes as coloratura, how do you say that in English? So ornamentation, so to say. Um, on the organ you would have the effect of the long notes, obviously, but the clavichord has something of, adds some color to it as well. So I'm just saying this, when you listen to this, and you would never have had the opportunity to listen to Sweelinck or that music of that time a lot, and certainly an organ piece played on the clavichord, then your thoughts might be, wandering and just going off, and it's not a problem. You will come back. There will be things happening that will bring your attention back in the piece. For me, the practicing now is feeling the tactus, so that whenever Sweelinck changes the note value from quarter notes to eighth notes to 16th notes, and he does that here in an irregular way, that I have this tactus very steady. That's not so easy. Certainly when the 16th notes come, the tendency is with all players to go a little bit faster, and that's just killing the piece. Also, there are some really difficult passages here as well. It's not like in the Ritterkar, but some passages you really want to have a look at before you play this piece. It is not easy music. I know many organists that have not the experience of playing Sweelinck. When they play Sweelinck, they say, okay, let's put it on the stand and we play it. It's not like that. Though this choral was not like the Ritterkar was made like, to also not only to show the contrapuntal possibilities of him, or the composer, but also his capabilities as a player. This is much more in service of course, the choral melody and everything that it takes. So, without further ado, there we go. It's D minor. Going to do it again. I'm not saying it's bad, but it's boring. And I don't know why. There should be something in the tactus that gives you a constant feeling of gently moving forward. Gently. It's not like today we want to have everything like in one bow, in one line. I cannot feel the bow, I cannot feel the line. Not so in 17th, 18th century music. The line, the bow, the tension is within the tactus, within the beat. And for that I need a little bit more focus. I have to do this again because to show you the beauty of it. You probably have felt it, but I need to show it to you because it's such an amazing place. This is what makes Sweelinck to Sweelinck. So you have this huge development. Very complex, also hard to play. I'm changing actually a note here because the keys are still like out of reach sometimes. It's very hard on organ. It's possible, but I don't want, I mean, it's just an octave that I just don't play. But then you come with this you know, this ornamentation, and then it falls like completely flat. And that's where many musicians that I mean, I know that I've heard that so many times that musicians are afraid for those moments, like, oh, it stops, yeah. But you have all the energy of what happened before there. It's breathing, and then the way he starts within a variation, completely again. I mean, all over. It's unbelievable. So I'm doing from the top of the page. And now he starts again. This is like, what do you want more in life? It's unbelievable. So yeah, and on organ I will record it probably with my cell phone on Sunday, so it will be freezing in the church, by the way. So I hope I will be able to play all these notes, but that recording will go on Patreon only if you want to see that, if I record it. There is another recording of last time with some Sweelinck, also the same settings of you know, singers, and then I alternatively I play the organ. The second variation starts with all long notes. It's very vocal, but then of course you start instrumental with all these ornamentations. And also there, the trick is, the challenge is to keep the long notes, give them all the value and all the length, while the left hand is going crazy. But it's not overpowering the right hand. The right hand is also here on the instrument with short, with fast decay, I would say, in sound. The left hand is just ornamentation. And it happens only when you stick to the same tactus tempo. When you don't change that. The difficulty also here is with the long notes, like in the rizzicato, find the right spot where you have to go to the next note. It might sound a little bit silly, but try it. It's really hard. Certainly on the clavichord. It's easier on an organ with length of sound. There we go. Let's do it again. You hear that the left hand is sometimes a little bit overpowering in sound. I don't know if this microphone picks this up. This is very hard on this Saxon clavichord, and then you see this like made here in the tenor to really bring everything to the surface. That's of course much easier on an organ, and with these early fingerings like with 3-2-3-2 or 3-4-3-4, you don't have enough control here to really manage the sound in the left hand. I'll try to do my best a little bit more, but that's something that's hard to avoid. And the difficulty also on this keyboard with this instrument, and there will be in Leuven and the organ also a little bit, but a little bit less, because an organ gives a different kind of control and release the key, because you can land on the next key a little bit more quote-unquote brutal. I mean, you better not do that, because you hear it in the attack of the sound as well. But on the clavichord, you pay the price, of course, immediately by the sound that goes up, and then the next note you have to adapt accordingly. So that's really, really hard. And I don't mind, because I know this is not written for this keyboard, and I'm not going to change the fingerings to a more 18th century fingering for this piece. I want to stick to the more or less 17th century fingering. Okay, we do it again. Here. Also here, I do this again. This is so beautiful when he lands here. This is the end of the choral melody. Yum. And then I should check if the C is not the C sharp. I mean, they're different. This is just a Dover edition. I should check with the more recent Urtext edition. But it's so beautiful there. So beautiful. And the thing is also, it's difficult on clavichord again to have these 16 notes in a very strict tempo or tactus. So I'll give a little bit more sound to free my hand a little bit for following the tactus better. We'll try that. Shit. Happens. Or just without. So third variation, a little bit more complex, but the same structure as the previous one, where the left hand and the right hand actually are playing around the choral melody, which is in the tenor. There it comes. Also beautiful here. obviously where the sextuplets, how do you say that in English, comes. That's the tempo determinator, of course. All of these notes should have still the quality of sound. Clavichord and organ, harpsichord, doesn't matter. This is very advanced for that time, keyboards wise, you know. And by the way, not talking about tempo, but I don't know what my tempo is now. Well, actually, what you should do, what I should do, what I always do, but I didn't do it right now because I wanted to start in the right order. You go from this variation to the first one, and then you have the tactus really in your blood. Your heart is pumping in the tactus tempo. It's not, of course, but as a way of speaking. Why is my phone not activating? Okay, there it is. Let's check the tempo. It's interesting, I have the same tempo as in the Clavichord, which is much slower, not much slower, a little bit slower. I played these pieces around 40-44-ish some years ago. I think also on the channel, if this piece is on the channel, you will find a little bit faster, but I'm reducing that a little bit, 38, 37, 36, half note and single beat. You have to imagine that Mersenne, so I'm playing below the tempo of Mersenne, but even in our interpretation. Of course, the question is if you would give 60 for this piece, that would be questionable. I don't think that's possible. Nobody plays it in that tempo, but anyways, then you have to imagine, just as an in-between, and then we continue, that if we are wrong in our interpretation, or Lorenz in this interpretation of Mersenne, you should double the tempo and then add another 50%. It's like even doubling. Be my guest. That's the whole thing also of the metronome practice. When whole beat never was a thing, then Renaissance music, what we are used to hear in this tempo, a little bit faster sometimes, of course, but around 40 to 60, that's the range for half note and single beat. We should double that as well. Renaissance performance practice is a whole beat system. That's actually a point I will make in the book also. Anyways, we continue. This is about practicing, but it's an important in between as well. Choral in the bass now. There it goes. Written out proportions. difficult here. Eh? Sorry. Or you can give an ornament there. Beautiful music. Beautiful, beautiful music. So, yeah, a little bit of Sweelinck, but we'll be returning to Bach very soon. The Wohltemperierter Klavier is on the table. Literally, it's over there. It's actually supporting my cup of coffee. To not spoil anything on the table. No, I'm kidding. It's really my Bach score is underneath my cup of coffee, but it's empty. Don't worry. So we will be returning to that, and also Mozart will be on the table from time to time. Bach Wohltemperierter Klavier has a priority right now, but I will start to practice the Mozart sonatas. There's a lot of sonatas on the channel, but not all of them. I practice the ones that are missing, fingerings and etc. And so once Mozart sonata has been foreseen from fingerings, that's not so hard to play afterwards, but those kind of stuff I will mention and feature in the upcoming courses over the next 6 months. Give me some time, but I'm preparing those. So and I can show you the process a little bit in these practicing sessions. So guys, I hope you liked Sweelinck. If you want to have the fingerings of this score and the music I'm playing, it's on Patreon for the $5 tier level. I'm going to update my Patreon page. It's completely outdated, also the introduction there. If you go there, you will see an introduction from, I said something in the Ritchie-Card video of 1769, but it feels like that, so it's time to update it from here, and also to think about the correlation, the connection between the practicing sessions here on YouTube, and there might be some changes in the future, but I will see. I will talk also to the patrons and see what they have of ideas, because there we have a very great community also, and I want to develop that. There are some cool plans, but I will not share them with you until I can show them to you, because that makes more sense, right? So, okay. Anyways, Thanks for watching. See you soon again. Bye.